So if you want to prevent this, do not forget to do the mandatory maintenance on the cooling system, 2 years or every 60,000 kilometers with good quality antifreeze. As you can see, the reservoir is original, a little bit yellow, but I did not clean them. As you can see, the clamps are original. I did not remove this at all. Okay, just goes to show that maintenance will save your car. This plug over here, which takes care of the antifreeze, and over there on that side the same thing. So you can't remove the antifreeze via these plugs. This is a 17mm head bolt. Remember what I said about antifreeze or coolant? Even though the aspect of it may be good, it becomes acidic over time and you have to replace it.
En jullie agora não te contando, vou dar uma de rodas.
How easy is that? As you can see, using more coolant to expel the rest of the antifreeze. You can see it comes out quite dirty still, so try to use more water or antifreeze or something to expel everything out until you see clear fluid coming out. Once you see that, you can plug up again and put the new antifreeze for good. So here are the new parts and the old parts. As you can understand, this is the problem of not using and not doing the maintenance on your coolant. And what is the problem with that? If you don't use proper coolant or don't use it at all, you may have to start to have leaks developing on the aluminum parts, on the steel parts, and then the liquid starts to become acidic and starts to oxidize.
and everything becomes rotten. Even the plastic and rubber parts will be affected by this. For example, here on this part, corrosion and oxidation actually makes this part of the part swells a lot and will destroy the hose that is attached to it.
You turn on your engine, and the antifreeze must circulate only through the engine. It won't pass to your radiator. So the thermostat is in fact a valve, a thermal valve. It keeps this circuit, let's imagine it is two circuits, the circuit of the engine and the circuit of the radiator, and the thermostat closes this circuit until a certain temperature. Until that temperature, the temperature of the engine must be as high as soon as possible. And most of all, you have warm air for your climate control. Now, the engine rises up on the temperature. The valve, that is that thermostat, opens, and this second circuit will open with it. In that way, the antifreeze, when this valve open, that level there will fall. Once it does that, you have to take out the tool and close the circuit and wait until the fan kick in. I will switch on the car now. The antifreeze is on that level. We will turn on the engine. Okay, started. And now we wait for a few seconds so the level can level itself on this first circuit. And we will wait like 10 to 15 minutes, a little bit more I think, so the thermostat opens. 10 to 15 to 20 minutes on idle. If you are on the road, maybe you can do it in half of that time, but let's do it in idle so we have a baseline, okay? We are 10 minutes in, and I can tell you here, this hose here is cold. The bottom one, it is cold as well. Main one that you want to pay attention is the one connected to the thermostat, because this one is really close, and that one, the lower one, has some contact with that primary circuit. Now the level is alright, okay, and the temperature is around 65-70 degrees at 10 minutes. We are at 13 degrees Celsius outside, so let's wait until this second circuit opens, and then we must watch the level drop down to the level. Meanwhile, this return hose here must be hot. This return hose here must always bleed out the antifreeze. It must be working at all times. Okay, this one and this one as well, the lower one. This principle of working is the same for Alfa 75, Alfa 33, Alfa 155, 156, all of the cars that uses liquid cooling use this principle of working. Of course, the management of the cooling may be different in some systems. For example, the Alfa 156 does not have a switch on the radiator. So let's wait a little bit more and see what's what. So we are here. We were on the 80 degrees. It's heating now. A little bit more than I wanted, but let's talk about this for a second. We are at 80 degrees, 85 degrees. This is the temperature of this car, of working of this thermostat. Now, if you are on the road and that temperature drops a bit much, you have problems with the thermostat. But you can check it out if you have problems on the thermostat. If the top hose here, or the hose connected to the thermostat, begins to warm up. Okay, it's cold yet. It's still cold. I think it's starting to open because the temperature of the engine will open up the thermal valve. Okay, now yes, this top hose is starting to heat up. The air is escaping the second circuit, and now the two circuits become one. Now all of this is working together. The primary and the secondary circuit are working as one. Okay. Now the level is around perfect. Okay. Awesome. Now we heat it up, and the temperature perfect. Now for the second part, it's very important to take out this tool here and put the cap on and wait. The system will pressurize a little bit, okay? And we are waiting for the cooling fan to kick in. In some cars at this stage you can actually turn off the car, the engine, because some circuits, mainly because I have the front a little bit raised up and I can be trapping air on the circuit, you can actually switch off the engine, wait a little bit to the system to calm down a little bit, take out this tool here, put the proper cap and switch on the car again, so we can test the cooling fan. Let's talk about this cap here. As you may not know, this cap here is not just a cap. This is actually a valve. Depending on the type of valve, you can have a kilogram or a kilo and a half of pressure inside this valve. And when the system reaches or surpasses that pressure, this valve here lets that pressure go. I'm remembering here on the Iveco trucks, they actually have a sensor to sense the pressure of the antifreeze. Very clever. So if you have a problem inside your cooling system, more pressure than it should be, your cover will let out that pressure. The problem is not the cover. The cover is only doing its job to let go of the pressure. Now let's turn on the car and test the cooling fan. Now this video here, I'm sorry I cannot go on the road with the car, but it's actually a good thing, so we can first understand the principles of working of the system. Now it's only a matter of time before the fan kicks in. In this case, it is a switch that is on the radiator that actuates directly the cooling fan. But on other models, we have here, there. The signal firstly passes through the ECU and then from the ECU to the relay to the cooling fan. But that is for another video. Now, what are we expecting here? Now we have a much bigger circuit to heat up. The engine has to heat up a lot more antifreeze. 9 liters to be exact on this car is a lot of antifreeze. It's very expensive as well, at least in my country. And now, when the temperature on the radiator reaches the 89, 92 degrees, I think, the fan will kick in. Okay, no surprises there. The main thing here is how much time does this cooling fan is working, and what are the intervals of working between each engagement of the fan. Let's see. Okay, so the cooling fan is kicked in about 10-15 seconds ago. Still working. If the cooling fan does not stop, you have a serious problem, okay? Or if the cooling fan is working for a lot of time and the intervals are too short, you may have a problem with the engine. If you have a working period of about 30 seconds of your cooling fan, let's see if it's switched off. You can also see here on the temperature gauge, okay, it stopped. So we have here about 30 seconds, depends a lot on the exterior temperature, okay? It stopped. Now, how much long does the cooling fan stays off? That is very important, okay? The longer it stays off, the better the system is. You have no problems with blocked pipes or blocked radiators or a problem with the engine. A gasket, for example, the head gasket. A lot of things may be happening. Even the switch itself can be broken, okay? Or with a lot of sludge behind the switch, it messes with the conductivity of the temperature. So it's still not working, okay? It's a very good sign. It's a very good sign. We are here about a minute of the last engagement of the cooling fan, that is very good. If you want to check out for leaks, now is the time. Take your light and try to see if you have any leaks. Don't try yet to level the antifreeze, because the first time you do this job here, you always have some air trapped. Is inevitable. If you open right now that cover, you may be fooled with some false pressure, because the air pressurizes more than the liquid because of the vapors. So wait like an hour, 2 hours, or the next day, whatever. Don't worry about the level right now, unless it's really low, okay? Don't worry about the level right now. Worry, yes, about seeing if you have any leaks on any parts of the antifreeze system, okay?
On the 2.4 liter engine, the multi-jet one, not this one, but this is the most similar that I have to show you. That purge over there is made from plastic, and it actually breaks, and then you have the coolant going off of the engine, and the engine goes bad and whatever. Now, when I worked on the dealership, I had like this zip ties around the injectors I told you about. I had the idea to modify that purge over there, to remove the plastic one and do a metallic one, and I sent the authorization to the brand itself, and they said, okay, you can do that. That can be easier ways to do that, but at the time, those were the parts that I had in hand to do that modification. I hadn't in stock, so I did a bunch of them to modify that problem. So these are the parts that you need. You need a 10 millimeter on here, on this plug, okay, with a proper washer. This plug is used on DV6 and DV4 PSA engines, okay, very easily available. Now you can use just this plug over here. It works perfectly. The thing I see is when you are purging the system, if you have bubbles still coming out, you cannot see them very well, because this is very large, okay? So what I did at the time, I have a second plug. This is really for purging, because it's drilled through, and I drill through this one and apply this one over here. In this way, I can see any bubbles of air, of coolant, exiting the hole of this second one. So you can use just this one, but if you prefer to be safe, you can use this second one, okay? This is 6 millimeters, by the way, okay? And use the washer, the copper washer for it. You can actually use a ruler and find out where all the scratches meet. This and like this, and like this, you can find the center of the bolt plug thing. Yes, this did run away from me a little bit. As you can see, it's elongated, the hole. But no matter, I will not use this because I don't have any engine. This is just to show you how to do it. You already saw on my video of the modification of the gear knob, how to do this type of stuff. This is more like a modification to upgrade your system than to show you how it's done, because it's not difficult, okay? So you just have to be bang on the middle of the plug. If you have a drilling device, a drilling engine, a press drill press. Okay, I think it will be much easier, okay? So here you go, all tapped through, okay? Now you just install this main plug on your aluminum pipe, on your 2.4 GTD engine or any other engine that you want to do. And once it is installed with this washer, it has to be the proper washer for it. You can install your draining plug, now this time with a hole on the side there. And don't forget to use the paraflue up, the red one, on your multi-jet engine. It's the best thing you can do for your engine. Just one more tip. As you can see, my drill is not really at the center of the plug. No matter, because I will not use this one. But if you want to do that, try to purchase 2 or 3, 1 or 2 to practice, and the third, the final one, to be the best example of the lot to use on your car. This, in a pinch, I can use it, okay, it's good enough. It's not really on center, and on that one is a bit elongated, but no matter, okay, it still works. But try to purchase 2 or 3 to be sure that you are doing a good job.
Well, today we are talking again a little bit more about the failing of a head gasket or a head itself. I already did talk about that a bit on my video about the 2.4 liter and 1.9 liter multi-jet engines, namely on the 159 cars. And now I want to talk to you about something that I feel you need to know, because sometimes the simple things can lead you to a lot of trouble. About a month ago, I did encounter a car, a Fiat Punto 1.2 liter 16 valve, and those engines, as you may know, the head gasket tends to fail a lot actually. And so this guy did a full repair on the engine, everything new, everything the best of the best. And yes, the car stayed okay, very good, but since that car, every time he checked the level of the coolant, the level was always a little bit low. Not every day, it depends a lot of the journey that it took, but essentially a little bit lower. It did not gain pressure on the system, did not turn on the overheating light. The temperature gauge itself did not go beyond the normal functioning of the system, but he found that very strange. So he said to me, can you check out my car? I think something is not right with the cooling system. Something is very odd, because the coolant tends to disappear to nowhere, and I think maybe the repair was not very well done. Well, some days later I did start to check the car, just opened the hood, see everything, if no leaks appear, oil or coolant or whatever. Went to see the coolant level, and it was really indeed a little bit low. And when I pull out the cover of the coolant, I felt it coming out very easily. That is not the way it should be. So I look at it and look, what is the problem here? Can you check with this one? Yes, something is missing. The O-ring is missing. And why is this so important? This is not just a cover for the coolant reservoir. This is a pressure valve and a pressure cap. As you may understand, modern cars, the workings of the engine are around 98 degrees Celsius, around that, okay? I know of some cars that the working conditions of the engine is 118 degrees centigrade. That is very hot. And how is that possible? Does it have some kind of special coolant? No, it does not. As you can see here, this is a pressure overload of 1 bar, okay? As the pressure inside the cooling system reaches or surpasses 1 bar, it opens the springs inside, the valve inside, and lets the coolant come out. When that happens, the problem is not the cover. This is a consequence of another problem, namely inside the engine, or the water pump broke, or the blades of the water pump disappeared for some reason. I already talked about that many times on my channel. Now, what you want to have is a minimal pressure inside of your coolant system. So your coolant system must work around 200-300 milligrams of pressure. That pressure is enough to elevate the point of boiling of your coolant from 100 degrees to 120, 25, somewhere around that area. The more pressure you have, natural pressure, you have inside of your coolant system, the higher the coolant boils. Okay, can you understand that? So as you can imagine, with this cap over here, the problem was the temperature of the engine being 98 degrees on that case, the water part of the coolant was constantly boiling, and the vapor came out through this cap, was no longer doing anything, because even if it is tightened all the way, there is no sealant. It's just a cap with nothing. So the splashing around of the coolant, of course, this will prevent it from sloshing around and coming out of the coolant reservoir, because the coolant itself, the reservoir itself did not have any markings of coolant around it, but the vapor came out very easily through this no gasket one. So I put a used one, and let's do the experiment. Let's go with the car for about 2-3 weeks and see what's what. And the symptom disappeared. The coolant was no longer, the level of the coolant was no longer dropping day after day after day after week. However, he was very, very lucky, because if you now can understand everything that I told you, every time he went to drive his car, if you have 98 degrees of coolant on your car without a minimum pressure, the coolant was permanently boiling. It did not, at least yet, the head gasket did not suffer yet. Maybe it already has a marking over there, because boiling and gaskets do not go together, but at least for now, a month and a half has passed, and the engine of the car is in really good condition. So I already told them, go check from time to time if you have overpressure on your pipes of the coolant system, and if you do, you have to remove the head again, because that happened. Now, why do I think the gasket, the O-ring here, disappeared? I have a theory, may not be true, but whatever. Be very careful, because what I think that happened is, when the head gasket fails, normally or sometimes it mixes with the engine oil. And when you have engine oil on rubbers and plastics, like I told you a million times on my channel, it will swell up like crazy. And then you try to put the cap on place, it will cut itself on the hole that is supposed to go, and now you have a cut O-ring. And when you try to put it again, it does not enter, because of the O-ring is swelling up, and they may have take out the rest of the whole O-ring that was not working, okay? And just put the cap on, because that is the proof here, just a cap with no O-ring, and let it go. It has a cap, who cares about the O-ring? Not like this, guys, not like this. So as you can see, I have my fan over here. This system uses only one fan, but it has 2 speeds. How does this happen is very easy to understand, okay? So you have a double switch. As you reach a certain temperature, the first speed kicks in. As you reach another hotter temperature, the second speed engages. The first and second speed are obviously only on this fan. It is this resistor over here that does the first speed. As you have 12 volts entering here, this first pin, less than 12 volts, about 8 volts, go out. And those 8, let's call it 8 volts, will kick on this fan, making it turn slower than if it had the 12 or 13 volts that you have with the car running, okay? There you have it. Everything is assembled. The cooling circuit is now heating. I already did some videos for this. What should you do when you are replacing your coolant? It is down on the description so you can see better the whole procedure. But just to remember, you want to put your coolant in, you want to open your blades, you want to see if the coolant is there on the correct markings, on the correct level, and just run the card for a bit until you notice that the thermostat is now open. When that happens, beware of the height over there on the level of the coolant, and just wait for the fan to kick in at least one time. After that, shut down the engine and let it rest, then confirm again the level of the coolant and you are ready to go. Start looking for any possible leaks everywhere, mainly here on the water, on this water body, on this coolant body, on the thermostat, radiator, the heater core, water pump area, all of that. This car really uses a lot of coolant, very close to 10 liters. So 5 are in. Now start looking for the lead screws. I know I have one down there and another one on the radiator. A little bit more just to watch it. Possibly you have to go back and forward between bleed screws to see if all the air is out. Careful not to lose the screw and the washer. So I can feel the water or the coolant, which means that is good. See this one again. I think it's nice. I think it's good. Meanwhile, the level of the reservoir is excellent. I will take care of these leaks over here, and oil leaks and coolant leaks. I am not replacing here the water pump because it does not make part of the timing belt. And the only thing I will do is to check for bearing problems and leaks. It does not have them. And I will replace the antifreeze. I will do the paraflu up again, as I was doing for all these years on this car. Now, some radiators do have a drain plug. This one has it, and it is in this shape, so you can use a hose because you do not want antifreeze all over your front end of the car. It will be days before the antifreeze comes out completely. Okay, so use that to remove the coolant. Find a good hose that goes there. This one goes well. And then once it is tested, we can remove here 13. I believe it is 13. Yes. Connect the hose again. See if it turns by hand. It does. Now a tray on the ground. That is it. Don't forget one thing. As much as your coolant may seem good, do not forget that it turns acidic with time. So if you have enough time on it, like years on it, like 5 years, if it is really, really good quality, it's time to take it out, okay? For my country, as I have to split the antifreeze 50-50, as I have about 1 liter of water on inside of the engine, I'll just add about 1 liter of coolant, concentrated coolant, onto the engine. The bleed points are one over here and the other one on top of the radiator. This one here, I hope yeah, this bolt is not original. I hope everything is okay with this. Just want to take the bolt and let the air out. I really hope I'm gonna get filmed. A lot of Loctite, I believe. Put some more antifreeze as needed on the reservoir. I'll put some Loctite over here if I have time. Can you see the water coming out? You also can do this. You can push out the water until you see coolant. Why water? Why? Okay, let's see if the thing works. It grips good. The Titan was good. Let's keep an eye on it to see if any leaks develop. You can hear the air coming out. As soon as you hear or see water, you can shut it off. Again, you need to keep an eye on the level of the coolant, because now it is stopped and there is no coolant, enough coolant on a reservoir. So I will shut it off a bit. I will close it to add some coolant. The reservoir is full again. I can hear again the air. I can see again the water, not antifreeze. I will let it out a bit to see the antifreeze. Start to see some color. And I have enough coolant on the reservoir. Yes, I have. Okay, that's enough, because I have the first stage of concentrated coolant on there. It will mix with the water. A good tip that I have for you over here is to put some silicone grease over here, but remember that we have another seal over there, and to reach it, it's easier to put in here on this inner edge. You'll see that it is much easier to put the cap in and take it back out. You can also put some on the threading, not a lot, to help out some additional friction. This one is perfect. And so the reason why I wanted to put the coolant in right now is to see if any leaks appear here on the water pump. And as I am assembling the rest of the car, I can always take a look and see if any coolant is present. Sometimes it happens, okay? That's why I do it like this.